So here's a hot take. If you're like me and you're not technically a bass player, but you're looking to add a little bass to your catalog, we might have the thing for you. Stick around. How's it going, you guys? My name is Cooper Greenberg here at Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. Find us online at alamomusic.com. Today, we got some interesting topic to talk about, and that is a bass for a non-bass player. And we kind of started thinking about this video in terms of a bass for maybe a guitar player, but I think that it kind of has morphed into a bass for like a singer-songwriter or just a multi-instrumentalist that isn't necessarily the trained bass guitar player, but wants to add some low end into their home recordings or just into the kind of their home arsenal. And I think that we've kind of found the right one for that predicament. And this is what we came up with. This is the Fender Player Mustang bass PJ. Now, PJ denotes that this is both precision bass pickup and a jazz bass pickup, kind of your two classic Fender bass pickup options that you kind of get the option of either one in this thing. Three-way toggle, so you can just go all P or all J, or you can go in the middle and kind of have a blend of both. This has got a master volume and a tone knob. Keeps it pretty simple, but also just makes a very versatile bass. Now, the cool thing about a Mustang bass, which makes it a very easy transition for a guitar player, is the shorter scale. So typical, say, P bass would have a 34-inch scale length. This has a 30-inch scale length, so it makes it really easy if you're playing a lot of guitar, especially if you're playing a Fender guitar, to put that down, pick this up, and not have too much of a crazy stretch for your hand that you might not be used to. Me personally, I play a lot of acoustic, play a lot of electric, and do a lot of recordings at home. A lot of them are just demos, but you know, sometimes I'll bring a bass into a recording studio, and it's really easy. Me personally, I have a Squier Jaguar bass, another short scale. This is kind of a step up in terms of price range and quality. This goes for about $649, but it, first of all, it looks fantastic. It's aged natural finish with the tortoise shell, so it looks great, and it kind of fits the sort of offset aesthetic that we're big fans of over here. But for me, you know, I got that Jaguar bass here at Alamo Music a long time ago because I was doing an EP that I was recording at home. Wasn't necessarily a bass player, but I wanted to add some in there. I think behind the camera over here, we got our guy Josh, and he is just a fantastic bass player, and it's intimidating for me or somebody like me to be around people that are bass players. The engineer that I work with is a bass player as well, and so I think it's easy for a guitarist to kind of jump in and take more of a guitar approach, try and get too leady and not have the overall mindset to like be sort of the backbone and add more bass-centric, tasteful licks. And so whether you're looking to record or just kind of pick up more bass skill, because it is a completely different skill set, and I think a lot of people think that if you're a guitarist, it's easier to jump to bass because it's less strings on a typical bass setup. That is not the case. It's a completely different mindset that you have to take when you're approaching a song and just adding a completely different frequency and flair. So, like I said, this is kind of the place that I would recommend somebody start, because it's a lot closer to a guitar scale length, but you still get, you know, the bass feel. You got different pickups than your typical, say, Fender single coils, and you can really get to know the instrument a lot better this way instead of going to a full-scale P or jazz bass, because, you know, we're used to getting tight up there, and it's just a good place to start. So let's hear some sounds. Again, I'm not a bass player, so you might be able to tell that I'm approaching this instrument with more of a guitar mindset. I'll do my best to kind of show, you know, how easy it is to get a little closer to the sound you're going for in, say, a home recording or a studio session with something like this than a big old full-scale bass. So there you go. There's some sound samples from a person that is not a bass player, but definitely enjoys adding that element to recordings. I also think it's important to say that you may be a bass player and just looking for something a little smaller for travel. You can get maybe like a guitar case if you're on the road. You can do maybe a smaller short scale guitar or like a GS Mini from Taylor or something, and then have this, and it's not going to be just this massive thing to carry on. It's a great travel instrument as well, and just kind of, you know, how we said earlier, it's a great all-around bass to add into your arsenal if you are kind of a multi-instrumentalist or a singer-songwriter doing a lot of stuff at home. It's a great tool to have at your disposal. And if you're a fan of kind of the short scale vibe, like I said, I have the Squier Jaguar bass, and it's great, and it was great for me at the time because it's a very easy investment to make to add a whole other dimension to your sound. But so there's place to go lower in the price range from the Player series, but you can also move up in the price range. Look at like maybe a Fender American Mustang. They make higher end versions of a short scale bass if you're looking to add something that's just going to be even higher quality than this, which is already a great build quality, you know, higher pickup quality, all that stuff. So within the range of short scale basses, there's, you know, a certain, you know, range that you can move around in, or you can use this as a jumping off point to, if you're going to get a little more interested in playing bass, you can extend yourself to maybe a full-size Precision or a jazz bass. But either way, I think it's really important that as guitar players or singer-songwriters, that we expand our horizons, maybe add some other skills to the tool belt, and then just, you know, you can make much fuller, more developed recordings and songwriting. It's a great tool to add a bass in. So if you disagree, if you have a different opinion on the best bass for a guitar player or somebody that's not a bassist, let us know in the comments below. You know, we love to hear from you guys. Let's start an argument about the best bass for a non-bassist. Otherwise, though, you know, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications because we got some cool stuff coming out. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And once again, thank you guys very much for watching. Have a good one. That's a bass track that I just wrote. Is that all right?